right, hey, welcome. We got a special edition of Argent Alpha Unscripted, and today I'm joined with my new buddy Derek Baldwin. He's the owner of one, soon to be two locations in Arizona of United Defense Tactical. Get that right, Derek?
Right? You got
Awesome,
it.
yeah. So hey, welcome. I got a quick, even though we're unscripted, I do have a quick opening script. So when we say harder to kill at Argent Alpha, we're typically thinking about health span, living strong, getting rid of fat, improving our VO2 max, reversing biological age. But I've talked to a couple other guys, and there's a whole other layer to the phrase harder to kill, and it's got nothing to do with your deadlift or how many pull-ups you can do. It's about awareness, judgment, decision making under pressure. And it's what happens when something in life goes sideways. I mean, it's something, talk about curveballs, and you don't get a second draft. There's no do-overs. And a mutual friend of Derek's and mine, Judge Belmack, introduced us a few weeks back and just said, hey, you two need to meet, because Judge and I are talking about this whole expanded definition of harder to kill. And so today, I'm happy to have Derek join me here on this podcast. And Derek specializes in scenario-based training that forces people to confront how they actually perform under stress, not how they think they would perform. And I went through an hour of this, and so did Judge. And believe me, where you think you are and where you actually are like worlds apart. I learned that the hard way and in real time. So Derek, I'm excited for this conversation and looking forward to diving in with you.
Very, very excited. And I'll wait for you to tee the question up again, because you just made my mind explode with so many directions I can take that in. So where do you want me to start, Scott?
Well, from your perspective, when you hear me say harder to kill in your world, what does that mean to you and just in what you do?
Yeah. Now, I want to start off by saying I'm an advocate of working out, staying physically fit, and always pushing that rock up the hill. Because if you stop pushing that rock up the hill, it rolls downhill really quickly, and you got to start at the bottom again. As you get older, as we all know, that's getting tougher and tougher. But for me, it was beyond that. I grew up a hunter and a gun advocate. I always loved guns, BB guns, shotguns, rifles, shooting white-tailed deer in Texas. But I knew carrying a handgun in public was something that I wasn't ready for. I didn't know the law. I knew going to take a CCW class was good, but in 2 days later, I had forgotten everything they taught me. And I felt like, man, I really wish I could go train and do this. But where's my entry point? How do I prepare? And that's where this franchise came into being. This is a school that allows you to prep. We are a progressive training institution. Harder to kill people. Prepare and train. Our military guys will tell you, and I've got ex-SWAT, ex-Special Forces guys, ex-Marcon guys. And what they'll tell you is half of their training is doing this, raising the gun from here to here, here to here. The moments you have, the split seconds, you can't decide in the moment. You need to be pre-prepared. You need to know how you will respond. You will revert to the lowest level of your training. Muscle memory and habit are not built in the moment. They're built preparing yourself. So, harder to kill, that is being prepared and practicing and getting yourself in a real life drill before it ever happens. Growing up playing football, that's what the coach said, practice like you play. Well, we train like we fight. Fielder, or sweat and practice you can get in, that which will make you harder to kill. Somebody may have more talent than you, but I guarantee if you're practicing harder and trying harder, you'll be just as good or better than the naturally talented guy. And most of our really great students, they've been doing this for years, and the repetitions are countless.
Yeah, I believe it. In my just 1 hour session, it was more about creating awareness. I didn't build any skill. I just built awareness, like of the gap that I had in my skills. And what I remember, I had just come off of pistol training over at I think it was C2, where you're using guns, live ammo and stuff. And I think it was Scott. We were talking about that, and he said, "Wow, it sounds like you're really good at putting holes in paper." That's what he said, and now I get what he means by that. It's like you can be accurate on a range in this very controlled environment, but walk me through. I want to get into your origin story and how you get into this, but walk me through like a scenario. Like, somebody who's trained with you and they get into a real life scenario, how does this training actually bear fruit or return a dividend to the person who's been trained?
Um, One of the first things I ever tell people is we're going to prepare you. We have over 1,500 different real world scenarios we could potentially throw at you. If I can make you situationally aware and if I can build humility and respect for what actually happens in an oh shit moment, I can build a defender that can avoid those moments and help prepare those around them. So it's not about getting into a moment. We do want you prepared. Should worse come to worse, the last thing you want to do is deploy your weapon. The last thing you want to ever have to do. How do I keep you out of that? Our school, some of our scenarios shows you that. I mean, it's graphic and bloody. We don't pull any punches. Well, when we're doing things, we try to shock you a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not over the top, super realistic. But the point is, if I'm in a freeze moment, like somebody just did something, you're losing time. That situational awareness, you can't freeze. You have to go and be ready, or that gun turns on you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where I would say that's when it comes to practice. And the easy ones are most people won't ever have a situation like this occur. But if it were to happen, are you prepared? That preparation begins months, weeks, hours in advance of getting ready to the situation. So it's that situational awareness, how to respond, getting to your weapon, deploying your weapon accurately. Can you even aim? Can you even move? A lot of our folks, they come in, they don't move. You pulled your weapon and you shot, but you're standing still. Now move. So you got to be able to shoot while moving, find cover, many different things that don't go through your head because no one's been in a live force on force type of situation. So we prepare you for that. And again, point of this answer is I'm going to train you to the highest level. That way, when the bare minimum thing happens, you're prepared, others are safe, your family's safe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mentality that we're.
Got it. So you mentioned growing up in Texas, you were familiar with guns, but I know you spent some time in the corporate world. Walk us through your journey that got you into this business.
Yeah. Well, long story short, COVID. We'll get into that in a minute, but 20 years in corporate America, mortgage banking, SVP at Bank of the West, running operations. Really, then USAA is really where I found a love for mission. USAA, one of the number one top member service companies in the world, routinely. They teach you how important it is to have a mission. Why are you here? Why are you doing what you do? I have two grandfathers, both are Purple Heart Award winners, World War II and the Korean War. Both were shot, saw action. Seeing them not be able to talk to those events because of how shocking it was to them, and this love for the country really puts that love for the military, law enforcement in you. So long story short, I'd always been a very patriotic family. When COVID hit, basically a startup that I went to work for, it was shut down due to the real estate crisis. And I was left with about 2 years, couldn't get an interview. I decided to cash in my retirement and build my own investment company via an IRS tool called the ROBS program. It allows you to build an investment company and use it on yourself. So I did that, went shopping for a franchise, and I looked for about a year and a half, and nothing struck a chord in my heart. I knew it had to touch my heart, and it had to be something I was passionate about and be kind of recession proof. But when I saw COVID hit, I was sitting on my couch while our Old Town Fashion Square was looted and destroyed. Whether it was by a bunch of kids having fun or just playing antics, you notice really quickly that a mob of rioters can take over your city square very quickly. And your law enforcement and police just stood by and watched and did nothing. Now, they were under orders, they had to, so politics was very much involved in that. But what that told me was what happens when some of these leftist lunatics or any of these lunatics around the country doing whatever come to my neighborhood for whatever cause they think is righteous. Am I prepared? That sat with me. It really irritated me that small businesses were being destroyed, that my community was being hurt, and that I couldn't, as a very, very capable man, wasn't able to do anything about it. That really pissed me off. So Flash forward to when I'm searching for the franchise. These guys, I get an email one day. Somehow they found me saying, "Hey, this is our product." And then I'll unpack that in a minute. But basically, what United Defense Tactical is met my passion. The financials were there. It allows me to be involved with the community. It rang all these bells. But what it really did for me was it showed me that I can build a community of like-minded defenders, well prepared to stand up, to exercise our Second Amendment rights, a well-regulated militia type of community that are ready in the moment's notice. Now, we all can see how quickly things can go sideways. Hopefully they never do. That's not the goal here. And our goal isn't to build a community of anybody that's wanting to do anything wrong. I want a community of peaceful, nonviolent, and a personal responsibility. You should be using your personal responsibility with your Second Amendment to use your weapon in public. And what we find in our simulators is no one's ready. No one's prepared. Everybody fails in that simulation. It's very few people I've ever seen pass. And it's an eye-opening situation. So there you go.
So we can connect this to the business part, but I'm curious, when you think about defending ourselves, I don't know if this was the first thing you told me, but first thing is take the weapon out of the picture for a second. Is one is getting out of a situation, just getting out of the jam.
No.
Maybe talk through like if having a weapon and knowing how to use it if you're threatened is the ultimate on one end of the continuum. What are some of the other ones? Like you and your wife are leaving a restaurant. It's 9 at night. It's dark. The parking lot was busy when you got there. Now you leave your cars, a little walk away. You're walking and something happened. Talk us through something like that, because that sounds like that's probably more realistic than a firefight.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be realistic with most of the men that are probably listening to this. Most of us won't have to encounter that type of situation. But what I'm going to talk to is very capable. And the realistic piece is our sisters and our daughters and our wives, they're the ones that are really going to be attacked like this. Most of our attackers, they're drugged up, puny losers that are going to do something harmful in the spur of the moment. So some of it's common sense. And I would say if you have a young lady or a wife, get their head out of their phone. Situational awareness, again, is the key. That autopilot, Scott, that we all go to, that we're used to operating like everything's fine, that's in essence what I'm doing here. I'm waking you up to the reality that an attack can happen any moment. And that's what a criminal is looking for. They're looking for you to be not paying attention. They're looking for easy targets. They don't see a man that's been working out as an easy target. I'm not going to really have to worry about this. If somebody attacks me, they're asking for a punch back, right? And they know that. If they have any of your guys that are fit and in shape, they're not attacking anybody that can fight back. They're looking for women and women not paying attention, women carrying their bags. Tell your loved ones too. Your purse is not worth your life. Your purse may mean you holding on to it. He has a knife. Let go of the purse. Throw the keys. Distract them. Run. What you can do to distract your attacker, that's typically what they want. Get out of there. Do not lose your life over something stupid, especially if you haven't been preparing to fight. And if you're not a fighter, you're not going to be one in the moment. And I'll tell the guys too, don't get into a fight. Your life is not, and even getting a broken bone is not worth standing up for yourself. Give the criminal what they want. Get your family to safety and get out of there. But it all starts with, honey, we're about to go out. It's 9 o'clock. This is a bad neighborhood. There's known to be some bums or some vagrants around here. I'm going to go out and check out the parking lot first. I'll bring the car around. You wait inside where it's safe. There's some basic things you can do because you thought ahead of time. Preparedness. Am I ready? You don't have to be anybody special for that. But the man, like I said, if the man is willing to lead your family with caution. Now, what we would teach you as well, how to carry in those cases. Legally, when can I shoot the guy? What is imminent versus immediate threat? Meaning, I'm probably going to go to jail for shooting somebody. But if I followed the law, my chances of getting off are good. The police, their job is not there to go, well, you followed the law, go home, have a nice night. It's going to be, we're taking you in, you're arrested, spend a few days in jail until we figure this out. You want to have your lawyer ready to go at that point already, pre-prepared for how well you're trained and the reasons why you're innocent. You're not prepared and you walk into this case, you're blind and you're gonna be broke too, because they're gonna take you for everything you have, and the DA is not looking to get you off at all.
Mm-hmm.
And our insurance guys, we bring in insurance companies. Their job is to scare you when they come in, but that's one of the things you get with our membership too. I bring in all the different various insurance companies and their different lawyers. They'll talk to you about what they're going to have to fight if they were to go and if they were to have to defend you. They don't want to defend you. A lot of them do. They don't want to ever have this happen. So their whole goal is awareness, how to never pull your firearm. Because what they'll tell you is without our school, without United Defense Tactical, most of their people are really in danger by carrying because they're not prepared. Going to the range, using your trigger finger, you're not pulling from a holster. You're just shooting and putting holes in a piece of paper down range. 77% of the targets over 6 feet away, when fired upon from 6 feet away, miss. So we've got to improve that. And we can improve that in a class or two. And we see these wide targets, people hitting on a very wide range, and then we get that tightened up. And that's when you start to see people, oh, wow, just these few tips and tricks. Yes, I can get your sights and your grip and your stance fixed relatively quickly. What I can't fix is how to shoot in the moment, and I can't fix repetition. I can fix that in months, not in 1 or 2 classes. Yeah.
So I've got a wife, 2 daughters, 1 daughter-in-law. What would be the top 1 or 2 things you'd want me to tell them if I wasn't with them, or their husbands weren't with them, if they're any kind of like, you're the basics? Because I think you said, these are easy things, but they're common sense when I hear you say them, but I don't think people are thinking about them.
Something caught me by my attention in one of our self-defense classes, and it was so eye-opening to me that I think this is what I'll always share with everybody, because it doesn't occur to the men that are on this call that are hearing this, and me and you, we probably don't have this thought. But it was a women's self-defense coach. And the first thing he said is, before I even teach you the physical aspects, I have to get inside your head. And I need you to promise me that you believe you are allowed to survive. That when that man who's got you on the ground, standing over you, and you can't fight back, you're convinced this is where I die. I need to get in your head and tell you, you can survive, you deserve to survive, and this man is not going to get the best of you. That kind of exploded my head going, as a man, I'm never having that thought. I know immediately when you attack me, I'm fighting back and I'm going down. But women, they feel like their lack of confidence and survival just says, okay, this is it. Well, I've got to start right there. No, ma'am, you deserve to live. This asshole needs to pay, and we're going to show him why. And they've got to get angry. Men like you and me, we get angry. Women, they get sad. They get depressed, and they probably empathize. They probably empathize the attacker. Well, he probably needs my money. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but the toxic empathy that we see, it really hurts women. They need to stop empathizing and get mad about their attacker that he's trying to take advantage of them. I see certain women come in with that mentality, but a large portion, we have simulations that allow home defense situations or home invasions. And the attacker's at the bottom of the stairs, and he's got a knife, and he's coming up the stairs. You can shout at him all day. You can point your gun at him. He's still coming. Do you know when those women shoot him? It's not at the bottom of the stairs. It's not middle of the way. He is on top of them, stabbing them before they ever pull the trigger. Why? Well, I didn't know who he was or what he wanted. He wasn't hurting me yet. He's in your house with a knife. That's when you shoot him. The minute he comes towards you, shoot him. You get the warnings and you shoot. So those are the type of situations that I think are extremely important that I get in front of women, because even they don't know how they'll respond. They don't. And they see a human being and they cannot I should empathize. No, ma'am. That's not a human being anymore. That's a death angel coming to kill you. Shoot it. Mm-hmm. So, and that takes practice, and that mental break from their reality. The reality that some people live in, Scott, I think is one of the shocking things that I've seen in the facility is they live in this world that's not one that I think you and I know, or we know as a man. You have to be ready at any time to go. And most men, I think, that are alphas feel that way. They live in a fairy tale world where it might happen. And if it does happen, then I guess I deserved it. So when I'm starting with that type of candidate, man, there's a lot of change of mentality before I even get to the physical aspect.
So if they don't have a carry or a firearm, they're at the mall, is it things like mace or what are some tools like that that you would recommend to women, or just other ways to just get out of the jam or increase their odds of surviving?
Well, mentality is one. What can you get to that you can deploy? That's what I'm most worried about. I don't care if you have a gun or not. If you have something that you know you can deploy in split seconds and you're good with it, use that.
Mhm.
Hey Siri, call 911. That's a great one. That you don't have to do anything. My phone just went off right there. Don't call 911, Siri. You can scream at your phone, then throw your phone, throw your goods away. Do not and run. Your feet are probably your best tool. If they've got you from behind, well, or they got your wrists or they got your waist, that's when you're going to need some training. There are pressure points and weak spots on the body, like the thumb. If you can get that thumb when they've got their hand on you, your iPhone works really good to hit people in the thumb. Ow, little elbow, and you're running.
Mhm.
If you're in high heels, be ready to kick those off. Again, throw away what you think is valuable. That's all they typically want. If they want more, if they want more, you're going to have to be willing to fight for your life and scream and claw. You're going to have to turn into a maniac. And that is a mentality that if you're not ready to do, and if you haven't practiced it, it doesn't come naturally to everybody. That fight for survival. So I would think anytime any of our loved ones go out into public, it's a men's job. We need to make them aware. I need you to have an awareness moment. You're going out to have fun. At any moment's notice, this could happen. As jokingly as it sounds, but I think of the movie Taken, right? He does a really good job of talking to his daughter while she's under attack. What he does well and has her do well, get as much about the attacker as possible. Scream, make sure while you're screaming, communicate. That's another thing that'll happen in an attack. You stop communicating, you freeze. You've got to say any description about the attacker you can get out. Hopefully, if you got to 911 on the phone, hey Siri, if they're on the phone, start screaming that out, and then fight for your life as long as you can. But you've got to control your breathing, stay calm, and then it's got to be muscle memory at that point.
Mhm. Well, and that's where the time I spent with you, I mean, that was the biggest takeaway was how ill prepared we were. And I think we went through four simulations. And you're right. One of the things, you're in there, you have that carry holster hidden, and you got to be able to access it and knowing what to say first. That was the first thing. It's almost like you're standing there going, "Hey, get out of my house." That's not how you say it. Hey, get the hell out of my house. It's like you're like, I mean, you were coaching us, and like even with coaching, it was hard. Just like to get that now. And I think having that experience now, just one time, and I'll have more coming up. It's like it's sinking in because I mean I haven't forgotten anything about that hour. I mean the whole thing was such a
Yeah.
great tool, and I think that's the thing for people is you can do simulations in your mind. They're not simulations. What you guys are doing there is like as close as you can get to the real thing. So talk a little bit about the simulations, how they work, why they're effective. Kind of almost like too like a lot of guys are interested in the minimum effective dose. Like, what's the minimum effective sort of training someone needs with you to be at least halfway prepared to survive something like this?
Well, for those of your audience that have never been in a United Defense Tactical, a little bit about the franchise. Founded in 2018 by Wes Fox and Jason Pike, and a Navy SEAL, and then Wes is a military weapons expert. They knew that there was some very very key things in the Navy SEAL training, that it was progressive and level based. So, like a martial arts belt, you start on a team, white belt, and we test you for proficiency as you go through the courses. And then as you're getting more, and we start with the basics, then we throw in some movement, then we throw in rifles, then we throw in some more difficult scenarios, right? So it's progressively getting harder, but you're not moving forward until proficiency is gained. So that's really the beauty of our school versus anything else with a simulator. We're actually going to give you a repetition that proves proficiency.
Hmm.
That white team alone, coming 2 to 4 times a month, you'll probably if you're coming 4 times a month, you'll get through the white team probably in 2 to 4 months. And that means that's 28, 29 basic skills, basic fundamentals of guns that will teach you everything you need to know to then maybe feel confident carrying. Well, what we say here is give us 2 to 4 months. You're going to go from leaving that gun on the shelf with dust to carrying every day. You're not going to want to go anywhere without it, because it's something happens to you when you actually become a confident, well-rounded defender. You now have skills. You're like, I want to use this skill and be ready. So how does the simulator go into all that? Well, a lot of the simulators I saw out there at the C2s or Scottsdale gun clubs, they're great. They're not quite as proficient as ours. Ours are very fluid. There's no glitching, so you can't tell when they're going to attack you. Our guns are laser based. They respond very proficiently. That times you how long it took you to deploy, where you shot, and did you get hit too. Now, in the simulations themselves, we have over 1,500 different ones that we can throw at you that are various challenges. So it's not just one and done type of thing. We're going to continually build on different situations to prepare you. But the magic comes in our instructors. We have a curriculum that goes with your simulation that allows you to unpack it. If you notice, when you went through with our instructors, at the end of it, we said, what did you notice? Why did you do this? What could you have done differently? So we allow you to take a mental rip and then unpack it with you. And then we say, okay, here's how you do that correctly. Look for this, look for this. And then we do it again. And this time the simulation might change a little bit. So you're not able to pre-plan. Our goal is that you're never going to know what's going to happen. You have to be able to decide in the moment what to do. Do I know the laws? Do I know my foreground and my background? Did I just shoot Karen in accounting through the glass window that I didn't notice because I didn't move? What angle am I shooting at? Am I communicating and yelling so that folks know that I am not the attacker? That the security guard that I didn't see earlier now sees me with a gun that just shot somebody and then I get shot. There are many cases where I've seen videos of that. Screaming, yelling, knowing when to call. Again, we're going to tell you also in the intro scenario, I believe the carjacking one that we show typically on our intros, you have keys. The guy's asking for your keys. You know how many people actually throw their keys? Nobody throws their keys. Give him your keys and get out of there. Everybody shoots. Let's have a gun battle. It's because it's the immersive, we want to immerse you in the situation. And that's where that simulator really gets you the aha, because when you pull your weapon and shoot somebody, and then I say, well, in reality, will you have gone for your keys? And folks are like, I never thought about that. Then the simulator did its job, because now I found a thought that you're going to deploy next time to help you survive. Mm-hmm. That's the key to survival: preparation and knowing all your options and not freezing. Free and communication. I mean, there's a million things we could talk about, but I guess where we're always going to land is, if you haven't prepared, your body's going to do some things you're not ready for. And it's going to do some things that really upset you in the aftermath. When all the endorphins settle down, you're not going to know what happened.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So one thing that you said made me think of this. So I know there's people who carry. There's a lot of people who own a firearm but don't carry, but they have it in their home. If you had to guess, and maybe you have stats on this,
Nope.
How many people do you think own a gun in their home but are ill prepared for a situation?
That's not a stat I've seen, but I can tell you of people that I talk to when they're coming in. It's probably the number one comment I get. There's a few comments. One is, my boyfriend has been very, very domestic violence situations, mm-hmm. without getting into too much detail. It's typically women that have had something happen and it's already too late, meaning the fear and trauma have impacted them. So I get that a lot. And they didn't have a weapon and they weren't ready. So there's people that have already had a taste of what can happen. Those are probably the number one client I have that signs up. They already know I'm not letting that happen again. The other folks are the ones that are preparing and are taking personal responsibility. And it is what you just said. I've got a gun, but I don't know what to do with it. I'm not even sure if it's in the right spot. It's got dust on it and I want to use it. But I don't know. I'm afraid of it. You're in the perfect spot. No real live bad guys, no live fire, simulations, slow progression at your pace in an air-conditioned facility. Mm-hmm. So it's a large portion. I think it's probably larger than we think. I was one of those guys.
Yeah, the reason I ask is in Argent Alpha, I once asked for some advice on a firearm, and I couldn't believe how many guys not only own them, but were making specific recommendations on this kind of Glock and this kind of all these details. And now that I've met you, I was wondering, well, I wonder how many of them are prepared to actually use it in a scenario. Like, I have no idea. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know, but it was the next question I had after I understood how ill prepared I was for a situation like that. And I don't currently own a firearm, but what led me to you was I was interested. It was a goal of mine in 2025 to learn more about it. I took a class, and I think with a lot of guys, if you're athletic, getting accurate with a firearm is not that hard. Your hand-eye coordination, all that, putting holes in paper becomes fun and it's easy. But that's just the sport side or the recreation side of it. If you want to actually protect yourself and be harder to kill, because again, it's another definition of it, knowing how to protect yourself. That's what I think what you're doing fits in. And it made me think like, well, I've never even heard of businesses like yours. So talk a little bit about, like gyms. There's a million gyms out there if you want to get in shape. If you want to prepare yourself, maybe I haven't been paying attention, but tell me about the market that you operate in. Is there a lot of competitors, good ones, bad ones, none? What's it like?
Well, that was another reason why I jumped at this opportunity. I had been looking for years to do something, but all I found was a lot of great tactical adventure type with real live fire, $5,000. Hey, come out to this ranch and we'll put you through some simulations. But that wasn't what I was. One, I didn't want to deal with. I felt like I needed to know all about Glocks and this technical stuff. I was like, well, that's too advanced for me. And I also knew one weekend's not going to be what I need to be prepared. I'm going to learn, but what am I going to go dance around the desert by myself after that and try to reproduce it? So the founders saw that gap. There's a major gap right there. And they built the technology. It's on a really great platform of great simulations that do the purpose of letting you practice under fear, flight, or fright. One of those things is going to happen. So we can actually practice what reality looks like. Tactically, you're not going to get in much tactical situations probably in everyday life. You're probably going to get into a fight on the street, or somebody's going to pull a gun on you, or more than likely it's a woman in your life is going to get attacked somewhere. So again, we've talked about all the things that you need to do to be prepared. And there is just a lack in this market. I think behind us, we might have some other competitors. I think, I'm franchisee number 5. There's 55 more right behind me going all across the country, 55 in 2 years. So everybody knows there's a gap here,
Mm-hmm.
but there's not much market for it. Now, part of my issue is I've got ego and pride to deal with. A lot of men don't think they need this training because, I go to the range, I'm good. Or people don't know we exist, right? That's why I'm doing this today. It's like, hey, we are a training institution. But Scott, I want to point out as well, we're not just firearms. We're holistic. So I always point out, we're the mental. We're going to teach you mentally what to do, fight, flight, or freeze, how to respond, pre-decision making. Then we're the tool. We're going to teach you all about the firearm, how to carry it, how to deploy it, how to aim, sight, stance. Then we're going to teach you the physical aspect. What if I have to get in a street fight standing, close quarters combat? We've got a class for that. What if I get knocked down? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we've got classes for that. What's the law say? I got lawyers. We have lawyer workshops and seminars every month. What if all the power goes out and we have to survive and we don't know how to get food or water? Disaster survival prep. That's one of the classes I have every month. Handgun familiarization, pistol familiarization, home defense. We're having workshops like this weekly and bi-weekly in some cases that are only accessible to our members. But again, it's holistic self-defense. I've got to get you good with your weapon, and then I want to educate you and get you training. Oh, and one more thing. We also offer combat conditioning just to make sure if you don't have a place to train, we can replace your gym even because we have conditioning classes built around carrying dead bodies, moving things out of your way when you have to get somewhere to shoot, all types of tactical ways we can train you to make it fun while you're getting some good conditioning in.
Got it. So that's helpful. So it's multidimensional. I mean, I like you're an educational training based company with real life application. When So you own Scottsdale and you're opening up a second location soon?
Yeah. Queen Creek is in the vision.
Okay.
Scottsdale is doing really well right now. We've got about 300 members in 3 months. If you throw out Christmas, which I think Scottsdale went on vacation the whole month of Christmas, very seasonal town. But yeah, Queen Creek's coming, and then I also have two other co-owners, or not co-owners, but other owners, Avondale and Peoria.
Got it. So there'll be four in the Phoenix Scottsdale market. There's 55 coming after you. How many dots on the map do you think there'll be for United Defense Tactical by the end of, like a year or two from now?
Um, you know, I think every major city is almost covered.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously the states that you would think are adopting it very, very quickly. All your red states are very quick to it. But this is a franchise out that started in California. The gun laws in California are so restrictive that they require a concealed carry course for every weapon you own. You have to repeatedly do this. So it's not a matter of if, but when, because if gun laws get more restrictive, and don't get me wrong, it's a weird line. I believe that everybody should not have any infringement on their right to carry, but there's personal responsibility that people need to be training to do this, to carry their firearm, because I think it'll prove the amount of firearms incidents at all that would happen with this type of training would go almost to zero. I think they're already pretty low from most civilians. It's the criminals that are carrying. But if I had to guess, I would think, it's at least going to double, if not take off. And here's the sad part. Wait till our next tragedy happens. Guess when my spikes in sales happen? Nobody wants to buy a fire extinguisher until their house is on fire.
Right.
Oh, what happens is when something burns, oh, I better go get one too, right? So that's when I see my spike. So let's see if the country has another mass tragedy, or if COVID again, if something like COVID happens, there won't be enough of these facilities trained in. I'll have to turn people away. I can guarantee that. So be prepared now, right? Get ready. If your audience has seen how easy it can go from everything's fine to 2 week, it's locked in your house. And then what happens if it gets worse? So hopefully that never happens. But now that I've seen it, I'm not going to let it. I'm not going to be a victim.
Yeah, we're out of the could it happen into it did happen. So now what do you do moving forward? And who knows what will happen, but something's going to happen. Hey, well, the other reason I ask is, our Argent Alpha is all about men over 50. Um, I know we've got a number of guys who are, I would say, they're pre-retirement or about to retire. Some guys are in retirement, and hey, if anybody's interested, wants to talk to Derek, reach out to me. I'll connect you guys. And I think it's interesting. It's the kind of franchise that, because I've followed franchise business quite a bit. We owned a fitness company. We had 9 locations. We owned them all. We weren't franchising, but I know a little bit about four-wall EBITDA and those kinds of things. And
Yeah.
what I like about yours is I can see there's a really strong community aspect to this. So there's the membership side of it, 300 members at X dollars a month. But then there's a community part. I'm guessing is starting to evolve where your members want to kind of hang out and engage with each other, learn from each other. But talk a little bit about what you're seeing from a community standpoint.
Yeah, it's very much like-minded individuals. I mean, it doesn't matter what political spectrum you're on. We see all of it. But there's something about training together with somebody that builds camaraderie. And so much so, the women especially, and that's something that I am encouraging. And I'm encouraging it by having a ladies' night next Tuesday, the 24th. We're going to do our first ever women's night. So it's going to be a 3-hour event. The members are allowed to bring a friend. Get them introduced to the simulator. We're going to let them do some intro training, then have some games with them. Then we're going to do a women's urban threats workshop where they get to a lot of the questions you're talking about, what we explained with how to prepare yourself walking out of a Walmart, what do I do with my purse? What can I fight back with? My black belt Krav Maga self-defense women's instructor, she's going to teach a course on that. That's what she specializes in teaching women how to break the wrist, how to fight if a man gets on top of you. Where do I use my knees? All those tactics you can deploy in the moment. So we're going to have a little fun in the simulator, have some education. They're going to have some wine and hors d'oeuvres to build even more of that community. Because to me, it's about the women that are here. They're either really already thinking ahead and they're confident, or my confidence is shattered. Please help me build it back. I need help. And then there's this whole group of ladies out there. We don't have anywhere to train. Nobody's inviting us in. Where do I get training like this? Let me tell you what, when they see what we do, it's an automatic sign me up. They see it, they get it. Because again, that mentality that you and I probably have never had to face is, I have to leave my house. I may not return. I never thought that.
Right.
That's a thought they have to go through. Mm-hmm. I want to change that. And yes, the community builds itself, but I'm gonna encourage it. And the men alone, we're putting together events where I'm partnering with AZ Tactical Adventures. And what he has is a shoot house on steroids. So that means fully blacked out, black lights, sirens going, you're kicking indoors, you're using airsoft rifles, and you're doing 2 or 3 hours going hardcore. But he trains guys at the higher levels. So he says, Derek, bring me the guys that already have the basics, and I'll send you the people that come to me that don't have any training. So for our higher level guys that have been through a couple teams like green team or blue team, we refer them out there. And so there's other opportunities for them to go do things as brothers together. And again, when the shit hits the fan, you're going to be calling up guys you train with and talking to like, hey, what are y'all doing? Yeah. And the one thing I mentioned is our low down dirty survival is what we're calling it. I have a friend that survived on the and off the grid in Oakland, California, running from the law for years. Now, he learned how to survive, how to find food and water, how to get money, how to do certain things within a system designed to capture him. He's since been a Reformed Christian. He's now a minister and a chaplain with me. And what he's done, he's like, hey, I'm now going to use those powers for good. And he's built this whole course. Guys, if this happens, here's exactly what you're going to do. Here's the basics things you need to have in your home. Here's your bug out courses. Here's what you need to be surveying in your own neighborhood for things that you may need. So I'm very excited for that first ever class to happen. But again, all types of ways to build camaraderie. And yes, it happens organically, but you got an owner that I'm going to press that and do whatever I can.
Yeah, and I think for the guys listening, and we have women listen to this podcast too. One of our jobs as men is we're the protectors, the providers, the leaders. And I think sharing this information with the women in our lives, our wives, our daughters, our daughter-in-laws, our sisters, do it. I'm going to include when we're done here, I'll put your website in the show notes. I'll end up doing a post on this. And I'm thinking of my wife, Jackie, Bronte, my daughter-in-law, Amy. It's like, I'm going to try to coerce them into coming next week. Maybe I don't even have to coerce them. I think they probably get a kick out of it. Plus, I think they have their eyes open too. It's, especially, they're all fit, but they're definitely girly girls. They're feminine people. But I think what guys sometimes are surprised with is women are interested in this stuff. Nobody talks to them about it though. They don't ask the question. So anyway, and I think for guys too, I'm hoping this is resonating with guys to like open their eyes. I'm not saying go
like sometimes it's hard to approach with somebody because you don't want to say, you don't look like you can defend yourself.
Right. You're right.
But women almost open up like, yeah, what do you have? And so I can teach them that skills, but I can also teach all the men those skills. Women want to listen. They just want to know that you're not putting them down. And so when they're coming here, again, it's almost too late. And as men, to your point, we have to lead them to it, but they don't know I exist. Yeah. So I need help getting the word out. And then let me educate you guys so you can spread it to them, because once they figure out, one, I'm allowed to live, I can fight back, I do have a fighting chance, but I have to flip the coin on them as well and say, if a man does get you, I can't teach you how to survive a 250-pound man grabbing you. You're going to have to fight for your life, because the likelihood of you getting away, it's not high. He's right. Going to keep you down. Let me give you a chance. Now, a 150-pound man on crack trying to get your wallet, give him the wallet, get out of there. Don't hold on to your purse. Don't die in both situations. Let me limit the accounts, right? So it becomes just being honest and truthful, and love steps in and says, as someone who loves you, I want to do this for you. I want to help you be prepared. It may never happen. God forbid it ever does. But I don't want to be the man in your life that let it happen because I didn't stand up and say, let's get this trained. Let's be prepared.
Hey, one of the things too, and you haven't said this explicitly, but I can tell this business for you it's more purpose driven. It wasn't just a financial opportunity. And you talked a little bit about the beginning. And you mentioned this friend of yours who's reformed. He's a minister. Um, I'm just curious, like, what part of your faith played a role in the decision to get into this business and what you're doing?
Other than daily prayer and asking God to guide my steps, I'll give you the story that I was 6 months before. When you're shopping for a franchise, they have what's called Discovery Day. And so you fly out to their corporate headquarters and they basically let you discover all about them for the full day to say, do I want to sign with this company? And I did that. I flew to Omaha, Nebraska to meet with a really good home services company, and I was going to do fence building. Hey, that's recession proof. That'll probably be something everybody needs. I can do that. And it seems like a niche market because customer service in the home services industry, really, I think that is something that there's a good point there. If you've got good customer service with a fence builder, you probably do well. Um, but the night before, even in that situation where I wasn't following as I should have, my faith was it's since exploded in the last 2 years. He's given me a phoenix heart. Um, Sitting on my couch though, the night before, I had the sinking pit in the stomach of don't do it. And so I had to next day and got those guys on the phone and realized I hadn't been working for 2 years. So I was living off of savings. I needed to work. But I got so scared and afraid to say yes from that I said no and kept looking. And it was about 6 more months. So for me, I've got a really grounded faith that I know what truth is. And I typically know that you have to do what your heart's passionate about. And maybe it was that passion really saying, you're not going to be passionate about this. It's not good. Could have been God working in my life, or obviously it was God working. But when I found an opportunity, one, to help people, to meet a need that I definitely saw the market had, that I don't have to sell this. I'm not selling you anything. I'm trying to help you survive, and I'm passionate about helping people. Working for USAA, we helped the military, right? And I was coaching my processors in mortgage banking that we could have guys deployed in Afghanistan, and we were talking to their wives, and we don't want to be the reason that they can't go out in the battlefield because their wife calls them crying at night. The bank screwed me. They lost our documents. We're not going to close anymore. The kids and I are in the minivan. We have nowhere to go. Are you kidding me? That mission right there was like, I can get behind that. And so it's reminding why we're here. And the why for me, why I'm here, is a little bit of what I've described. I want to build a community of defenders. I want to see people come in like I'm destroyed. I want to rebuild them. And you are allowed to survive. You can fight back. This is for everybody. It's not for guys like you and me that already have access to it. I want to open the doors up to anybody that wants this type of training because those are the most vulnerable people that will get attacked. And guys like me and you don't have to worry about it. So I think all that came colliding. It met my mission. It met my purpose. God was shoving me that way. The financials looked pretty good, and there were no real competitors. So you throw all that in. So I bought two of them because I believe in it, and it's a brand new franchise. So I really jumped off a cliff here, going like, I know there's going to be some growing pains with no franchise backing. And let me tell you, I'm doing really well to start, but it's been a bumpy ride. But I'll never forget why I'm here. What's my mission, right? And I love that the franchise has a mission to empower individuals through the most comprehensive, reality-based tactical and self-defense training curriculum on the market. This is my favorite part, to foster a culture of preparedness and self-reliance. So that's what I'm trying to do. Culture of women and men that are prepared and self-reliant. That you don't have to you don't necessarily need a security guard with you. I want you to feel like, try it, bad guy. You're gonna catch one. And that confidence, that shows, and I think criminals can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking for you lost in your phone. They're looking for distracted people. They're looking for drunk people. You stay out of some stupid situation with common sense. And if I can teach you some gun training with it,
Yeah.
you're going to be better than 99% of the people I see at the gun shows carrying around these big rifles. They don't know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, I love what you said there. I mean, when you can tell when someone enters a room, the energy they have or don't have, and what frequency are you vibrating on? And I think that's if your training empowers people to get that self-reliance and they walk into rooms differently, or they're just way more self-aware, they don't get into situations. That's a huge service you're delivering. I mean, I love it. Hey, real quick before I forget, I was going to ask you, I know you have an online option, and I don't know if that's for members only or, but talk, help me understand that. What do you guys do when it comes to online? What's in the roadmap? How does
Ah,
that play a part?
yeah, no, I have to refer one of my vendors for this to start because he's actually brought my attention to this. Well, the franchise, it's on the roadmap, but um, an online education university that we have access to. So I'll give a pitch for AZCCW Online. If anybody wants to get their concealed carry permit online, he's a great resource. He has some of the best curriculum that I've seen. That it flips like a magazine. It's got videos in it. There's sections in there that go above and beyond a CCW. Him and I met. I think I reached out to him on accident. He owns a company called Shoot a 50 Cal, which is another adventure that people can go on, and they go out to the desert and they shoot these weapons. And he actually owns the CCW online course. He goes, Derek, I love what you're doing, and I feel like I'm giving people all the mental education, but then what? Where would I send them? I feel like there's a gap. So I
Mhm.
want to refer them to you. And I want them to be able to get their CCW training actually in practice, because that's what we do. We take the concealed carry, everything learned in that class, that's in our basic core fundamentals. You're going to pass that white team. You're going to be well beyond a CCW course with that, well beyond it. So he's offering now for our students. Right, I'm actually still building it with him, but he's got great online curriculum that we're going to offer through UDT as a part of your membership. But that's coming soon. And for right now, I just say, hey, go to him. He'll set you up with it. So because we're both about, again, the gun community is like this. There's been a lot of guys, some of the other vendors that are close to me, they don't want anything to do with me. And I'm like, we're a training curriculum. I'm not selling guns. I'm not really selling gear. I want a partner so people that are buying guns can come to me. I'll teach them how to use it proficiently and safely, and then refer them to you for weapons. There's just a lot of this in the
Mhm.
community, and it needs to stop. So if I can get people introduced and comfortable with weapons, then they're going to go buy more weapons, and the more people I can introduce to the community, the more prepared defenders we have. Everybody's going to win. So azccwonline.com for now, and then to come, you'll get a part of that as your membership with us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what haven't I asked that you want to share with our listeners? Anything, message, services, learnings, anything?
The time is very short. I believe that if you haven't submitted your life to the gospel message of Jesus Christ, now is the time. He put on my heart to change my life about 2 years ago, and I was about 20 years of running from him. Um, I'll tell you what, mentally, your self confidence, who you are, your purpose, and why you do what you do. If you haven't met the Lord, He's waiting to meet you. So take advantage of the gospel that God sent his son to die on the cross for us for our sins, a debt we could not pay. And he rose again. And you and I can also have that resurrection in the spirit and a new body. I just want to tell people that because I feel like the rise of AI and the rise of everything around us, stuff is it's getting weird. And I think God's doing a work. He's calling the hearts. So just be ready. And that's also what I'm involved in is preparedness. So I'm trying to help you avoid death, but I'm also trying to prepare you for death. In the personal time, I am a chaplain and minister, and I like to tell people, listen, I can prepare you for how not to die, or if you do die, where you're going. So I've got a little bit of everything.
I've got door number one and door number two.
Yeah, we're both going through both doors more than likely. So
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's great. Well, hey, thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to personally visiting your facility. And I'm going to look up the details on the event for women. I don't know exactly when this podcast is going to drop. Probably less than a week, but I'll follow up with you after that and post on that. But thanks for joining us today, Derek. This has been great.
got it. And I'll send you a flyer for that women's night. And again, thank you for everybody listening. Stay safe out there. Come to UDT, train to survive.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.